thank you very much for staying all day long. I have two problems now. This is the last talk, so you're tired. Waiting to go home, get the rest of the sunshine outside. And Lilian also had a great talk before, so I'm really in trouble here. So I'm here today not to teach you anything, but to share with you my experiences and my learned lessons over the past 5-6 years, okay? So I started playing with the App Store back in 2009. Late 2009, I launched my first app in January 2010, something like that. But it was just for fun. The App Store was there, the mobile phone was there. I got my first iPhone from eBay from the US, the first model that wasn't even commercialized in Portugal. So I was a huge fan of the mobile world. So I started playing around with it. But only in 2013, I launched my first professional app. I worked with my co-founder on this app for about a year, 2012. And we launched, super happy. In 2013, we were eager, we built, we rock, we'll rule the world. That's what you think. But we launched it globally, 120 countries available, and we had 6 downloads on the first week. That's awesome, right? You work for a year, you are super excited about your project, you think you have it, and then you have 6 downloads in 120 countries. So, neat, right? So we get back, I started to learn about it, I started to read about it, what's going on, how can we improve our downloads, how can we get users, and then I started learning about App Store, search optimization, App Store optimization, everything about optimization in the store. So this was 5 years ago. So after learning all that, trying all that, boom, a few months later, 100,000 downloads worldwide. This is awesome, and we were excited, we will rule the world, but there was a catch. We had no login, no tracking, no data, so big fail. Nowadays for you it's like, duh, but it was a few years ago, and we knew how to build products, we didn't know how to sell them, how to track for you, pirate metrics and all those stuff. Today is kind of common sense knowledge, but a few years ago it wasn't, especially here in Porto, okay? So we were just starting in this startup ecosystem. A lot of things have happened in the last 5 years, but 6 years ago wasn't that evolved. So the lesson number one that I got was measure everything from day one. Even before you launch a product, even if you are over the schedule, don't forget to add your Google Analytics, your Facebook Analytics, whatever, Crashlytics, whatever you platform, your own analytics to the app. But track events, track what's happening in the app, track active users, track sessions, track logins, track data points, track whatever you think or you may think about it. Even if you don't know what you'll do with that data, it may be useful later, okay? So please do it, please track everything. After I move on to the next lesson I've learned, I want to make this more interactive, so please, if you have questions about it, I really liked the previous conversation because people were engaged and asking questions. So before I move on, I just want to know how many of you have mobile apps or launched mobile apps or worked with mobile apps? Please raise your hand. Okay, just like 1/3 or less. The other part, do you have plans? Do you want to engage around mobile apps, or are we just here? Okay, it's something that you want to learn about it, you want to engage about it. Okay, so please throw questions, okay? Some stuff I will throw it here, maybe you already know it, please tell me, but if you think, okay, I already know that, but please ask that but, okay? Just raise your hand and tell me, okay, that thing I already know, but dig deeper and ask the question that you want, okay? So, before you go into marketing, before you go into buying ads, optimize for the store, whatever, get the product right. It's true. People don't need your app. They just don't. Okay? They don't care about you. They don't care about your app. They don't care about your product. There are millions of them out there. They don't even need the phone if you see in the first place. So forget it. You think you have the best app in the world, the best thing ever made, It's awesome, you love it, you think it will change the world, but people don't care. And that's the truth. So before you get it out, please ensure that it's really, really good. The experience is good. Even you're talking about, we talk a lot lean startup and how to get fast, MVPs and so on. Okay, it may just have one feature. It's your MVP is your first interaction, is your first release. Just have one feature because you're just starting. Make it great. Make that one feature an amazing experience. Make the user delighted about it. And don't waste time trying to marketing, trying to sell it if it's not great yet, okay? So the number 2 lesson I learned is if you don't have a great product, just forget marketing. Go fix your product first. Go talk with your team. If you're a marketeer, if you're on the sales, and if you think there's a crappy product that you have in your hands to sell, go back to your engineering team, to your design team, to your CEO, to wherever. The person is in charge if it's not you, and talk with them and make that experience right. Get some private users, friends, or whatever to test the product and get feedback to improve it, but please fix the product first, or you will regret it later. Just get the business model right. You already know about this. You have a product, you have a customer acquisition cost, you have lifetime value. It's general knowledge that lifetime value must be 3 times or more of the customer acquisition cost. But really, keep track of this. Don't forget about this. It's easy. Everybody knows it nowadays, but don't lose track. Keep an eye on it. Every month, do your math. See if your customer acquisition cost is under control. Your lifetime value is the thing that you're expecting. Keep measuring. Keep seeing if things are going the way you expected. Don't measure these things once and say, "Oh, it's great, it works. Now let's sell it." And 6 months later, you find out that it's no longer working because you forgot to do the math again and again. So please check it. Keep track on that. Lesson number 3 that I learned is never ever oversight this. Okay? Otherwise, you'll find yourself in trouble in the near future. Because it's about the business. You may have, we are here because of business, right? If you're not making money, there are no business. Of course, you can have a different project, a different thing, like basic income, and things like that. But if you're doing business, if you're there for business, please don't lose the sight over this. Keep that on a side spreadsheet or whatever, but every month go there, update it, track it, see if it's working. Now, I want to talk about retention, because retention it was something that we neglected at first. Retention on mobile is really hard. You know, if you look at the numbers, the average is like, 5% after 19 days. That's the average retention. If you take off Facebook, WhatsApp, and Google email or whatever, just a few, Instagram, those social media apps or communication apps, the average retention is less than 5% after 90 days. That's massive, that's huge, that's really bad. And isn't it? Yes?
Unless your app is the online version of your website, right?
That's different. But even though, if they are, do the users keep coming to the app to visit your website? Or they just went there once or twice and never come back? So even if it's an app, if it's a website, a mobile version of your website, you need to keep them coming back.
Sorry to interrupt you. How would you classify Airbnb, for instance? You can do it online at the website, and there's also the app. So it's not just an online version of the website; it's an app.
Yes, but you can track the user over those platforms. You know how many times he goes on the website, how many times he goes on the app. So you track him because you know who he is. And if the user uses your platform online on the web, on the desktop again and again and again, and went to the app just a couple of times and is not using it again, you need to figure out what's going on. So you need to look at what he's doing. If he's just polishing new, imagine he's a houses manager or something, he has a real estate company and is always listing new houses for rent. Okay, that's something that's normal to do on a desktop because it's more comfortable. If that's the behavior, that's fine. Nothing's wrong there. But if there's a user that is always booking houses and doing things, and he never goes and never communicates on the app, even that he tried it once, something, you should look at it, what's going on. Is the app that is not working well? Is the user not understanding how to use it? Are you not providing the value that you're providing on the desktop, on the mobile? So what's going on? You should look at it. So that's kind of the approach you should have here in a case like Airbnb. Any more questions about this? No? Can we keep forward? So you may have the best marketing machine. You can build acquisition on volume, really cheap, whatever you like. But if you don't retain users, it's like having this bucket with a lot of holes in the back, and you're just throwing water to it, right? You're just throwing more water, and they're just gone. You just wait a few minutes, and it's empty. So no matter how much water you keep pulling in, just wait a few seconds or minutes, and it's gone. So you're not retaining anything. You're not getting value. So you're working a lot, all day long, and by the end of the day, you have no water. So that's the way you should look at retention. Because retention, by the end of the day, is what will bring you business. Of course, retention can be 1 week, can be 1 day, can be 1 hour, can be 1 year. It totally depends on your business, right? If you can make the value, if you have an acquisition cost of $3, and if you just need an hour of app usage to get back 3 times that investment, okay, you just need to retain the user for an hour. That's your retention. That's great if you achieve that retention. But if you need 2 months to get back the customer acquisition cost, and if you're not retaining that enough users for that period of time, you're losing money every single day. So it's not a viable business. You will end up shutting down eventually, okay? So you need to build sustainable businesses, and for that, retention is really, really important. The lesson number 4 I have learned over the years is retention is king. It's really king. It's really the key factor. I stumbled into startup founders at launching mobile, and they're saying, oh, our acquisition numbers are great, we are growing like X% a week or a month, and I always ask, what's your retention? Sometimes it's, I don't know. Sometimes it's 3-5% after a month or something, but it doesn't matter, we are growing like crazy, we'll crush you. No, you're not. Because something is wrong with the product, something is wrong with the service, something is wrong with the experience. Maybe they are not understanding what's going on. What's the value of the app? Maybe you need to focus on teaching them. Onboarding experience needs to be redesigned or whatever. You need to talk with them to help them to understand the value of your app, of your service. Otherwise, after a year, you'll be spending a lot of money in marketing, in sales, or whatever, and you're not getting back the money. Return on investment, ROI, is really something that you should keep an eye on. But you're already into it. So now that you have that, let's talk about acquisition, right? There are more than 3 million apps on the iTunes App Store, more than 3.5 million in the Google Play Store. This is around December last year. So today is more, because every month, every day, they're joining new apps. Like a year ago was about 2 million, so 2.2, 2.3 million in the App Store, so it's huge, it's massive. And visibility matters. Your app is just an icon on that big picture. Your app is not 1 in a million, it's 1 in 3 millions. So it's really, really tough to find your app. So you may have the best product in the world, because you fix it, we talked about that before, right? We fixed the product, we got a great experience, it rocks. But if no one finds it, no one will ever know that the app is great, and it's a great thing ever. So how can you work on acquisition? PR, content, social, like Liliana talked before. You have ads, right? You had some talks about that before. And you have ASO, which is App Store optimization. There are many people that say that ASO is dead. So on the PR you have news, content marketing, other channels like social forums. You can explore that at your way. I won't dig into that. One of the things that I learned is content marketing is great, but it takes a long time to pay back. You need 6 to 12 months to get back the awareness about the content that you wrote, and sometimes even more. Okay, it works. It's great. You had a talk this morning about it, but it takes time. Then you have ads. I tried these channels. There are a lot of them. Like you had a talk, the first talk in the afternoon about search ads, about ads. What's happening is people click just to remove them away because they're just playing a game or watching a video, and they need to click that thing. So we never did that. We just use it. Facebook ads works because it's really a powerful platform for ads. If you really go deep into it, it's easy to burn money and get no value out of it. But if you understand the platform, if you do your homework, if you really test, optimize, and do a really good job there, it really can bring you users, valuable users at a cheap budget. Then you have, for me, if you're doing mobile, the two main platforms that I think are really strong for acquiring users, which is the Google Play Store search ads and the Apple search ads. These are ads that are on top of the search results when you search for an app on the store. It's like Google. When you search for something on Google, right, you get the result. The first 3 or 2 results are ads, right? And then you have the organic results. The App Store is the same thing. This is new. Apple just launched this a year and a half ago. Google, something like that as well. But even so, these channels work really well. So if you want to start playing with ads and spend some money in ads for mobile, go and have a look for this. Play around with it, spend $50 or $100 or whatever, and get started with it. Play with it. Try it. LinkedIn ads work if you're doing B2B. LinkedIn is very expensive, really, really expensive. So you need to have a value proposition or a lifetime value of hundreds or thousands of dollars or euros to get back the investment. Okay, so it really depends. It's a good platform, but depends on what you're selling. If your lifetime value is $5 or $10 or $50 per user, don't go there, because that's what you pay for a click. $30, $40, you can pay that for a click. It depends. It can be cheaper, but it can go up to that price. So it depends on what you're selling on LinkedIn, okay? If you're selling a product, an enterprise product that if you get the customer, it will get you back 100K, that's worth it, right? So it totally depends on what you're doing. And if you're doing a B2B, have a look to it. It totally depends on your business. And finally, ASO. 65% of the downloads in the stores, Google or Apple, are through search. They come from search. People just take the phones, open the App Store app or the Google Play app, and they search. I want a receipt app. I want a better camera app. I want a social whatever. I want a restaurant app. That's how people get apps. It's the same way they go to Google and search for websites. It's the way it happens on mobile. So what happens is you have higher conversion rates than ads because people are trying to avoid ads, right? They are watching movies on YouTube or playing a game or wherever, and then they have this thing in their face that they want to get away, and they just click, so they are not interested into it. But when they are searching for something, if they are searching for restaurant app, and they type restaurant app, you have a restaurant app. It shows up in search results. So they are into it. They want a restaurant app. So the conversion will be higher, right? Because they are interested into that kind of content or app or feature or service. So you'll have less volume than ads, because ads is all about volume and money and how much can you burn and optimize. But these users will have higher value, usually, okay? And best of all, it's free. So you don't need to pay. Just go there, play around, optimize, and work. You need to pay for this kind of optimization, okay? So what I learned is acquisition on mobile, it's hard. Really, it's insanely hard. for the ones of you that never try to sell an app or market an app, if you have that on your scope in the next month or year, you'll have a great, huge challenge ahead. Okay, so get prepared, do your homework, because it's really, really hard. It's 6 years ago when I launched my first app. Yes, please.
I just want to say, is it hard because, and this is how I think I feel personally, which is that you really judge whether that app's worth the memory on your phone, you know what I mean, versus like, oh, I could have other songs or I could have other apps. So you think that's why it is that like latency?
No, that's one part of it. First is, do you want to pay for it? Yes or no. Then, okay, it's free. Do you want to burn my phone's memory with it? Maybe not. So it totally depends. That's why it's very hard. But the first, because when you arrive to that, you already have the app in front of you. So what's hard is to get the app in front of you, because there are 3 million out there. So you have a 4-inch screen, and there are 4 million apps that you can reach out on that thing. So how can you get your screen with my app? And that's the biggest challenge, how to get that. Of course, then you have that challenge as well, but, well, you keep going down into the funnel. But the biggest challenge is, how do you put your app in front of the users that want them, right? Because if you want a restaurant app or a sports app or whatever, how do I reach you? On your phone, you'll have millions, right? And what people usually do with free apps is they search for it, they install 3 or 4, the first results, they play around for a few seconds with each one of them, they delete all of them except the one that they like it the most. So this is how it works. So you're competing, you're already, even when you're getting ads to download your app, and if people really install it from your ad, then you'll need to fight or to compete with other apps that he installed on the phone, because the phone has limited memory. And I want to have all my photos there and all my music and stuff, right? That's the priority. It's not, like I told you before, they don't care about your app. They don't. They care about the pictures, about the music, and that's it. Mainly the pictures and videos they have of the pets and family and friends and parties and things like that, okay? So it's really, really hard. Be prepared. Do your homework. Since the other topics were already covered, more or less, during the day, like ads, PR, content, and so on, I will focus on App Store optimization, okay? And that way you have some fresh topic and not fall asleep. Are you still with me? Yes. Yeah, woohoo! Woohoo! So how people install your app? They go to the App Store, or Google Play Store is the same thing. They search, they preview the app, right? They have the icon, the name, the screenshot, the description, and they decided to download. That's the process. And this is a funnel. So you need to work, you heard about funnels today many times. This is also a funnel. So if you're converting from like 30% from page view to download, you're doing great, doing good. Average is about 20, the average is around 20%. So if 100 people watch your app, find your app, and open it, watch the icons and screenshots and so on, and if they hit download, 20% is the average of the mobile. So as you can see, you do a huge effort to get the app in front of them. They open it, and only 20% download stuff, right? So then, after download, of course, a lot of things happen, like signups. If you have a login or a sign up, what happens is usually 70% will sign up, 30% after opening the app. Oh, I need to register on this thing to try it out to see what it works? No, delete it. So 30% of users go away the first app opening if you have a registration. Okay? Or if you're not able in 2 or 3 slides of onboarding to convince them, this is really the app that you're looking for. So sign in, please. You won't regret it. So you have 3 slides or 5 seconds to convince the user that he should keep going. And that's another step in the funnel. And after he does all that, he just stops. Next day, you'll have like 70, 30, 50% retention on day 2 to make them come back to the app. So you see, the funnel is, you need 1 million users, to a million prints, page prints, to get a few thousand users. So that's the way it works, okay? So let's go back, talking about search, right? People search about names, keywords, things. They don't know your app. They don't know your brand. Even you spent countless nights or weeks making it perfect, making the right blue, perfect yellow, best balance. They don't know your app. They don't know your logo. They don't care. They don't know who you are. So first thing they'll do is search for names. So, and this is the thing that should focus first. The examples I'm bringing here is about the App Store, the Apple App Store. The Google Play Store is similar. They also have 30 characters for a name and a subtitle. The thing is, the behavior is different. Google doesn't care about what you put here. They just don't. Google cares about this. So on Apple, here, it doesn't matter what you write here. It really doesn't. So you can put whatever you like. Of course, do a nice description that goes to your app, but don't lose your time making a long text, just a couple of paragraphs to explain what your app does, and that's enough because there is no search. The search relevance is not important here, and users don't read. I have tons of search results, so I will check the pictures. I will check those pictures, the screenshots, and that's it. The number of users that go here and read this, it's like less than 5%. So don't waste your time. But on Google, it's important. Oops. It's not important because of the user. It's important because of Google itself. Because the way Google indexes and make the keywords ranking is similar to the web pages. So you need to have the keyword repeated at least 3 to 5 times in your text to be relevant and in natural language. So it doesn't work if you just go there and write 5 times the same word or a list of words. It doesn't work. Google is smarter than that. So you need to write it in natural language, in a description that makes sense. And then it's like content marketing. You need to put the right keywords here and there. So it's the same approach. If you're trying to sell a Google app, focus here, make a nice description. Here is just for the user. You have 30 characters to convince him to download your app. If that's the thing, to market your app, you have this just a few characters to make him download it. So take care of it because of that. On the Apple App Store, this is what counts. Okay? Apple gives more weight to these keywords, gives more relevance. The relevance of the keywords is your company name is the first, then the app title. That's what Apple, and then now they have the subscription, that's new, the subtitle, that's new in iOS 11. They also have a field for keywords. We'll go to that later, but here you have a tweet. You have a tweet here to convince the user. It's not for Apple, it's more to convince the user to download, because that's all what the user will read. And if he reads that, you're already really, really lucky, okay? So, moving forward, so how do we choose the damn words? So you have the best app brand name, and then you put the name of your brand there, and no one knows it, because no one will search for your brand. So first you need to check about traffic. If you're familiar with Google Trends and things like that for the web, you can do it here as well. So is a keyword has a lot of searches. People are interested in that keyword. Then competition, and that's important. Why? Because, okay, you have this restaurant keyword. It's super hot in the App Store, right? If you go to the platforms that track, it's super hot. But you have like 10 or 20,000 apps that are trying to compete for that keyword. So you're out of luck, okay? So you need to keep an eye on competition. And then ranking. So how can you make the keywords to rank higher than the competitors, okay? So what we learned before is if you put them on the app title, they will rank higher. If you're on the Google Play Store, make it appear 3 to 5 times in the description. in natural language. Don't cheat Google. You can. It's a bot that will read it, machine learning out of it. So you need to make it on natural language. Okay. So keep an eye on this thing. You can have some platforms like Sensor Tower or Mobile Action that help you out to check your competition, to see their keywords, to see how good are they doing, to see the traffic. So you can open an account. It's free. Get started. Then you need to pay for it, of course. But it's a way you can see here how can we check if it's an app is popular or not, if it's making money or not, and what keywords do they use to get discovered. This is good when you have no idea, when you're launching a new app and you have no idea what keywords to put out there. Just go check the competition. What similar apps are doing? What type of words are they putting in the App Store, and they are being discovered. So Dropbox app is being discovered by these keywords. And Dropbox has a really strong brand, right? Compared to your app, or my app. This is Sensor Tower. This is how can you track a few keywords. You can put the keywords, you can see the traffic, iPhone, iPad, and how are you ranking. And you can trace the history of your app about this keyword. This is a document keyword. This is a real app. This is an app that I was working on. And you can see I was playing around with it, and I made it to go to the top. Okay. So when you search for the documents word, my app is number 6. This app is no longer available in the App Store. Okay. So this was Toplabs, my previous error, and we could make it 6 with the word documents. Documents are really wide keyword, right? And it's a high volume, high competition, and we made it 6. And this is you can trace the store. This is the US store. So how did we make it? How can we go from 50 or 60 to the top 10? Because that's the other thing. People search and they will scroll maximum until 10. That if they don't find what they're looking for until the 10, it's like Google first page and next pages. They won't go there. So you need to be sure that some keywords that are important to you try to reach the top 10 results. Otherwise, they won't see you. Okay? Of course, eventually some users will go there, but majority won't. I can tell you the story behind this keyword, actually. So how did we make this? I will talk about App Store reviews later. This was a combination of factors. We make this word in the top 10 by changing the company name. With iTunes, you need to renegotiate your contract. Then we put the keyword in the title, and we got reviews with the name, with that keyword in the reviews, the user reviews. So we use these 3 things together to get the top 10 into the American App Store. Okay, so there are many strategies. It depends on what you're reaching. Depends on the store. If you use a Portuguese, Spanish, British, American store, okay, it's different. The keywords that you target to the US are for the US only and won't work in Portugal, or it depends, may work, but you can specify for that. We will go to that later. So you can also track the visibility of your app, how trendy it is compared to your competition. You need to have, okay, even if you go to your dashboard into the iTunes store, you see, okay, I'm having 20,000 views per week. Is that good? Is that bad? My competitors have also 20,000. Do they have 100,000? 5 million per week? I don't know. So I don't know if I'm doing good or bad, right? So you need to have that. You need to have benchmarking. So this is Searchman, and you can use this platform to track your competition relevance in search traffic. So, and see how you're doing and how you're comparing with them. So how often are you showing up in search results? Of course, this is tricky because if you're showing up on 30 or 40 position, it will count because you're getting in the search results, but it's not relevant to acquire users because you're not in the top 20, 15, to get the download, okay? But it's important to understand how you're doing, how keywords are doing, and how your competition is doing, and try to benchmark your app against them, okay? It's really important to keep an eye on this. Finally, if you want to do this keyword optimization, get a spreadsheet. Of course, you have all these platforms, but get a spreadsheet. You can download it from here. This is a link where you can get a sample. Of course, it's empty. What you should do is create a tab, and on that tab, put all the keywords that you're doing for this release, like version 1.5. And you try all these keywords, and they have this ranking, these settings, and you track it for 2 weeks. Next update, you change some keywords. So create a new tab on your Excel spreadsheet, and so on and so on and so on. And after a few months, because it takes time, it's not like to change keywords, you need to update the app. To change the Apple title, you need to update the app. So you need a new binary, a new app update. So it's not like, okay, it's not like a website. Like, let's change overnight, let's try it next day, and change and change and change. No, you need an update. So this process can take months. So you need to plan ahead, you need to try a few things, and you won't have results in a week or two. It doesn't happen that way. It's a process, okay? And it's a process that never ends, because every new iOS release, Apple changed the search algorithm, so you need to be on top of it. What's changed? How are they doing now? Google does the same thing. They are always improving and changing things around, so you need to keep an eye on what's going on. If you had a great ranking for a keyword and then it dropped, what happened? So maybe the algorithm changed, so you need to search and see what's going on. Okay? Watch their developer releases every June. After that, usually they change. Then follow up some people online that do some research and some experiments, because Apple never tells us, you know what, this is the way our search algorithm works, so this is what you should do. It doesn't work that way. You need to figure out what's going on there. Okay?
Also, do you wish us to check the link that you put there? Do you still open it right now?
This is a spreadsheet that they can save back for later.
Okay.
They can take note. It's a short link, and they can use it as a get started point if they want to play around with keywords. This is a link to a document, not this one, but an empty one it's a template. Okay. If you want to download a template, go to that link and you get a template. Yes.
Do you see the visibility trends? You said like to see your visibility trends.
Searchman. I'm using Searchman, but you can use different ones. But Searchman is the one I use for trends. Not for trends, for benchmarking myself against other apps to see how they're doing on visibility trends, if they are having a lot of impressions or not. Okay, because that way I can know if having 20,000 prints, because you go to your dashboard and you know how many prints you had this week on the search results, but you don't know how many prints the others had, and you don't know if that's good or bad. So it's good to keep an eye on that.
But you know that by knowing based on the keywords, or what?
No, the app itself. The app itself, and of course, it has the platform gives you. The app gives you a number of keywords, and shows also the trends and the rankings for those keywords. And these stars that you see here are updates. When the app gets updated, not just yours but your competition, you get a star here. So you can see if they go up or down when they update, and try to understand what's going on. And usually what the platform tells you is, this is the app, and these are the keywords that they found out on that app. So you can see what keywords they are using, of course yours as well, and what visibility that keywords are bringing to the app. So it's really, it takes a lot of time and effort, so it's a full-time job. It's not something that you do on the side, it's a full-time job. And of course, when I mean a full-time job is you need to do it every day. You don't have to work from 9 to 5 on it every day, but keep it doing it every way, okay? Don't lose sight. Automate as much as possible. Get reports, get automation out of it if you like. If you're lazy, do it, because you'll save a lot of time in the future. So you get back to here, now you have a lot of keywords that are relevant, that your competitors are using, that you know how much traffic, how hard will be to be ranked by that app. So you can start filling these things and launch your app. Okay? Then, this here, about the keyword, these are reviews. Apple, when you search for an app, and they rank your app higher than the competition if you have more and better reviews. Reviews are really, really important. So if you're doing support, or talk to your support team, every time you have a happy customer in support, ask them to rate your app. Because it not just looks good, gives confidence to the next user, I'm going to download an app. So if he finds a search for restaurants, it has 10 apps. Even if the app is the first one, and the second one has 1,000 reviews with 5 stars, and the first one has no reviews, I'll download the second one. Because I have confidence, right? It's like going to Booking.com or Airbnb. You'll end up hiring the bedroom or the place with more reviews, right? Because, okay, 1,000 people were there, and they always say nice things about it, so it must be good, right? Of course, later you can be surprised anyway, but it's the first help to trigger. And more than that, if the users use keywords, some words that you have on your app title or app description, especially app title, Apple will give you more extra points for that because you're not misleading the user. Because you're using keywords on your title that the users are using to describe it when they talk about it. So you're doing, they try they have a job too, which is trying to avoid tricks, right? They need to provide the users the content that they are searching for. And if the search engine is bad and only returning results that you don't want, they are doing a bad job, right? So they need to optimize their search engine. And they use this. Why? Makes sense, right? If a lot of users are using those keywords to talk about your app, it's because your app is really about what you say. Okay? So they reinforce that. So try to get reviews, and if you get reviews with keywords that you like, that's really good. Okay? So this will help you to increase the ranking of your keywords. Finally, you have those 100 characters space keywords. Don't try to put there important keywords. Don't go there. They will never rank. What you should put there is long tail keywords. What's that? It's keywords that are related to your app, that make sense to your app, but have a very low search traffic. So just a few people searching for that. Why? Because they won't have many competition, and your app may rank for that. So strange words that are related to your app, like I don't know, if you're an app restaurant, and I want to search for app restaurants in Lessa da Palmeira. If I have Lessa da Palmeira on my keywords, no one will search for that in the US or whatever, even here in Portugal. But if it's relevant, if someone looks for Lessa da Palmeira, my app will be the first, because no one is competing for that keyword. Okay? So you should put here long tail keywords, so very low search volume keywords, but that they are related to your app. Okay? Now, the other part, which is what the users see. They don't care about description because they don't have time to read. So what's very important is your app name and the subtitle that you have that, the icon, and the first 2 screenshots. So on the phone, this is all the screen that you get. So you need to convince the user to click here to learn more, go here, or to hit the download button right away. So this is everything that you have. So this is where you should focus first. You need to sell your app. After you do all the search magic, even if you are buying traffic, when you make them come here, this is what they see. So you need to convince them to download it with 2 screenshots, an app title and a subtitle. So you have 60 characters and 2 screenshots. That's what you have. And you need to convince them to hit download. And if it's a paid app, it's even harder, okay? So when he goes from here to here, this is what you get. You can scroll, see the description. You have a more thing there. So you just have 4 lines, and that's it. No one will read your thing. No one. Well, 2 or 3 out of 100, maybe. But other than that, no one will read it. So don't waste your time crafting a long text on the iTunes Apple Store, because no one will read it. Apple won't index it. So just describe it if someone goes there, because some users will do it. Just put 2 or 3 paragraphs about your app and that's it, okay? So focus on that. This is what you have. So you scroll here. This is another app. So you scroll. You search for documents. This is what you get. You scroll for 10 apps like that, and then you have this moment to catch attention. That's what you have to make them download. And optimize for device. So this is an iPhone or a mobile phone. This is a tablet. This is an iPad. Okay, it's different. As you can see, you don't see one app at a time. You see multiple of them. So you need to compete with screen space here. Even if you are the number 1 on search, you're still competing with the other 3. So here, being number 1 or number 4 is the same. So it's very important what you have here to make the user hit this button and not that button, or that button, or that button, or that, or that, okay? So you need to convince him to click your button. When you click the app description, this is how it works. This is how it opens. So you have 2 screenshots and a half. That's what you have. And again, description, more. You don't have more than that on the description. The what's new section is important, because when you release a new version, a new app, Apple likes that you keep your apps up to date and keep releasing and keep new feature things coming on. It's so important for them that they just give you 4 lines of description, and then they give you 1/3 of the screen. See, 1/3 app icon and app name, another 1/3 description, and another 1/3 what's new. So keep this in mind when you're building your App Store listing. So just have 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. And this is when the user has the time to go here, because they need to scroll from here to here, okay? And after all this is the lesson number 6 that I had, was optimize, measure, optimize, repeat again and again and again and again. Don't do too many changes at once. I mean, if you change the app icon, app title, and screenshots in one update, and things works or go down, because not every update will go up. I had many tries and failed. So I had less downloads on my new update than previously. So you need to keep changing and exploring. But if you do it all once, you don't know what happened. Was the app icon? Was the app name? Was the description? Was the screenshot? So test one thing at a time. Test the icon 1 week. Test another icon 1 week. Another icon until you get it right. Until you can see, you can measure conversions going up. Okay, the icon is already good. So now let's move forward to the app name. Then to the screenshots, then to the description, and so on and so on and so on. So that's why I told you that this takes time. Okay, so plan ahead and make your strategy right. We'll start for the icon, we'll start for the app name, whatever. But make your strategy, make a timeline, make a plan, have a plan. Don't just go there and randomly change everything, because you don't know what will have impact. Okay? So now I'll talk about some tricks that I learned into the process. How can you boost downloads? So what we have until here is the good practices, the best practices, what we should do always. And now I will share some tricks that I did. I had other tricks that didn't work out, so I'm not here. I just want to share this. First, localization. Local languages are important, okay? App name, keywords, everything. Localize your app. If you want to get downloads in Spain, don't present them an app in English. You won't get downloads, okay? They won't search for keywords in English to get your app. They will search for Spanish keywords. So your app will never be there, okay? And even if it shows up, the description is in English, they won't understand what's doing. So you're not getting down. So if it's German, or if it's Polish, if it's Russian, wherever, it's a language that you don't know, don't go to Google and translate the keywords. Don't do that. It won't work, because you need to understand how people in that specific language talk about things. right? How do they describe the app? One of the things you can use is Amazon Mechanical Turk. So you can launch, if you want to get keywords for Spain or Italy or Russian or wherever, just go there, open a task that is ask people to describe your app into their own language. They will see your app and they will write about your app. So you'll get that text back and you'll see how do they describe. You can get a pool of 10 people, 100 people, the most the better, because that way you can have a trend, okay? But if you have a description for 2 people, that's not enough. You don't know if that's the right words to describe your app, okay? But you have 100 people describing your app in Russian or Polish or Italian, you can match the keywords. Okay, these 10 keywords are across the 100 descriptions that I got, okay? So that's a way to get keywords for the app name, for the keywords, and of course, then you release, track, exactly the same process, all over again. Do this per store, per language, because it's different, okay? Yeah, it's a lot of work, right? Another trick that I learned is about keywords in the US. As you saw before, you just have 30 characters and 30 characters, right? And if you put the others, they won't rank. So what I discovered is if you localize for Mexican Spanish, so you add a localization for Spanish in Mexico, not the Spanish in Spain, the Spanish storage, the keywords you put in title will rank in the US. So now you have not 30, but 60 characters to fill in with keywords in the app name. And this happens, I think, that's my wild guess, because near 30% of the US population now speaks Spanish. So that's my wild guess. I don't know if it's true, but that's my guess. Then there are another trick, which is running a pay-to-free campaign. So if you have a paid app, make it free. Or if you have in-app purchases or in-app subscriptions or paid content, you can make it for free. But before you do that, don't just go there, make it free, and wait for the downloads. It won't happen. Okay? You may be lucky, you may have some small boost, but that's it. Prepare for that. Be sure you have reviews before going to that. You can handle prices per store. So if you want to make a go free in the US or Spain only, you can do it and keep the price in the other places. So if you want the reviews and stars are also per store. So don't ask your friends to review and give stars to your app in Portugal, because they won't show up in the US or Spain or France. Okay, ask them to show up here, but they won't show up there. Okay, it's per store, it's localized. Okay. So get some reviews before, nice reviews, and then before you go in free, try to reach out to some platforms like App Advice, App Gratis, and BGR, and there are many others now. Tell them that you will make your app free or some paid content for free now, and try to run a campaign with them. They are always looking for apps that are paid. Now they will be free for a limited period of time. So if you have a paid app, you can do that. If you don't, easy. Just go to the App Store, change your app to paid, reach out to those blogs or to those people, run the campaign, make it free again. Done. Simple. Okay. So you can cheat around it, because you just get coverage. What you get is users. Those users will give you a boost on downloads. The quality is not as good as the search results. It's like ads, but will give you momentum. In the App Store, the more downloads you have, the faster will get your ranking up. So your keywords and your search, your app will rank higher if you're getting a lot of downloads in a short period of time. So you'll get the boost. And then you'll have real users. I mean, real users are really interested to your app and searching for it, because it will rank higher and they will download it. Okay. You also can reach Apple, contact them to make it Apple free app of the week. They have this section in the App Store. So plan ahead, contact them 1 month in advance, make it paid, tell them that you will run it for free for a limited period, reach them out. It's not warranted that will be there, but you can try. They are always looking for nice apps to promote for free for a week. So you can try to do that. And if you're planning to release a new app or a big update with a lot of new features, you can also reach them and pitch them that you're releasing a new app or a new huge update on your app, and try to get featured by them. Okay. Here is you need to plan ahead, at least 1 month in advance. Okay. Don't just send them an email here, contact them through this page and say, oh, I'm releasing the app next week, please feature it. It won't happen, okay? You just need to plan ahead. There is a form in the online, in the App Store, in the Apple website, which is Getting Featured. Go there, there's a form, fill the form. The shortcut for this is for you knowing someone that works in the App Store, and then invite him for coffee. And get to know it is like doing PR. You can do that. If you know, if you don't, you can try it over here. Okay. So the last lesson I learned is your app is unique. Your service, your content, wherever, is different from others. So don't try recipes to the letter. So everything I told you is something that you should try as a baseline, and then work on top of it. Okay. Because usually when you go online and you see these blog posts about a subject, about a strategy that works great and so on, it's people only share that when they already try it, work it, and stop working. Okay, stop working, I will share. So I'm producing content, going back to this morning talk, okay? So don't try to apply that to your app because it's already overdue or it's already no longer working, or no longer working as it worked for them. So try to evolve on top of that, get ideas, get inspired, get the things, but try your own thing on top of that. Evolve, okay? Otherwise, it won't happen. So, keep in mind, track user activity inside your app, always track everything. So every button on your app, get an event, get clicks, get analytics on that. How many times a user clicks this button or that button, or how many times he opens this feature or that feature. It helps you not only for marketing, but also for product, because what features should I release next? I'm having 5 features. Users only use 2. Should I remove the other 3 or just noise on my app? So I should just take it off, not doing anything. Or move them to a very high menu somewhere that only 1 in 100 person use that. So, and you're done. Really find what they like inside your app, and you can do interviews, you can do customer development, and complete that interviews and that practices with data. Data will give you how when people is being asked for something, they will do certain answers, and when they are just alone in their rooms or in cafe or using your app, they will have a different behavior. So you need to match this data to really have accurate results. So never forget lifetime user or lifetime value. Try to get these as soon as possible. Of course, when you release, you don't know. You don't just release your app. You don't know how long it will take to get back. How much value is in user. The user average stays for 90 days. Okay, how much money is he bringing me in over that period? You don't know when you launch, but try to get that number as soon as possible. Don't scale. Don't try to buy insanely amount of ads or whatever before you get that right. Okay. Then always keep an eye on this every month, every week, whatever, and try different strategy acquisitions. Try everything that I talk here. Go online, search for more, try everything. Don't be afraid to fail. We failed a lot. These tricks that I found out are like, you'll try 10 things, 1 will work, 9 won't. That's life. That's the way you think. If you don't try a lot of things, you will never know, okay? And the biggest lesson, again, retention is key. Focus on retention. Get retention right, and when you get retention right, go and work out your marketing plan, okay? Thank you.